So before I even start off, I got the idea for this video from Turkey Tom. Put out a tweet, thought it was really interesting, and I thought that there was more that could be said from that tweet that he put out, and I wanted to talk about it. Sneako's a really odd character, you know. I heard about his beef with D'Angelo Wallace a while back, and I was honestly on his side. I thought D'Angelo Wallace was annoying at the time, and I was sort of just, if anyone was against D'Angelo Wallace, I was against him. So I was pretty biased, and he's really switched the flow up ever since. He's definitely a different type of person, and we are going to see all the different types of ways that he's gotten worse. Let's not even beat around the bush. You know, when Turkey Tom said that if mainstream media picks up on this, it could be bad, he's 100% right. I mean, look at the past Adpocalypses. That was caused because Pewdiepie said the N-word on that bridge, right? That skewed a lot of stuff, right? A lot of ads dropped away from YouTube because they didn't want to be associated with that. And then the whole Carlos Maza thing, where he acted like it was so horrible that Steven Crowder made fun of him. That caused a lot of people to get screwed over. This is not a good look for your company to have someone like this talking about things on your site. That's a big part of the reason why Alex Jones got banned off of YouTube, is that he just was not advertiser friendly and people didn't want to have their brands associated with him. And if enough brands don't want to be associated with you, and it's going to be negative for YouTube to keep you on the platform, they're not going to do it. They're just going to kick you off, especially if they feel like you violate their terms of service. Now, you can feel a certain type of way about their terms of service. I think that oftentimes they're enforced like really oddly strictly, and not as strict other times, but still, what can you really do, you know? Now, I'm mainly going to be focusing on one specific video from Sneako, where he talks about Danny Gonzalez, because there's a couple good tidbits in there. But I did see this really interesting video where he's like critiquing Gen Z, and I really don't think he knows that he is a part of Gen Z. I honestly think that he didn't even think about it. He was just like, Gen Z sucks. And I watched like the first couple minutes of the video. I don't think he ever acknowledged the fact that he is part of Gen Z, but he did have this interesting quote.
Come on, man. They don't teach you that in Jew school?
USA.
So I think that's a good point to go into the actual video. I'm going to be skipping around a little bit in the video.
I get you're gonna free me from socially induced incarceration, but what does freedom look like to you guys? Is it like, am I quitting my job
to not get makeup from your wife?
To be the opposite of you is freedom.
Like that.
To literally just not be you is freedom.
It's social incarceration. What does that mean? Socially, you're bound by a set of rules, and if you operate outside of those rules,
you get shamed.
You get punished. So what do? You break outside of those rules. You break outside of the matrix.
So it's really interesting. The guy that's in the background, he's some crypto millionaire. He's talking about a freedom that's supposed to be brought by when you join like the War Room, which is like Andrew Tate's like hustler university type thingy. And basically the fact that he's like, we need freedom in our social interactions, okay? We're socially incarcerated, okay? But I don't want you to wear makeup, okay? You're a man, so you can't wear makeup. But we are a part of, we stepped out of the social incarceration. We're awake. We took the red pill. We're out of the matrix, okay? Just to throw in, that people completely ruin that scene from The Matrix when you go on to see YouTube comments. Nobody's talking about the actual movie. They're talking about how they think it's real life. Which, I mean, I guess you can relate it to real life, but whatever. Anyway, it's really weird how in one sense you're like, we gotta step away from these societal norms. And then in another sense you're like, oh, but you can't wear makeup, dude. That's so bad. Like, do you hear yourself? Like, genuinely. Do either of these people, like, really hear themselves when they talk? Or do they just say, oh, this guy isn't super supportive of alpha males and I am. Therefore, he's wrong and I gotta take him down.
1750s, because that's the only way you're gonna find a decent woman.
Facts.
Because every woman nowadays is a thought. That's right. Every single Michelle out there that I used to date a month ago is a thought. They get mad at the dumbest things, like saying that women have no inherent value and their only purpose on this earth is to bear my children.
Yeah.
So, ignoring the obvious misogyny in the clip that I just showed you, I'm going to talk about why it's just hypocritical in and of itself. Because he'll say this, like, he'll nod along like, oh, all women are all bad, you know. And then he'll put out videos where he's like, oh, I love you, Brett Cooper.
Heavy hitters here.
Yeah, good heavy hitters. Yeah, Brett, I love you so much.
I had heard
Brett Cooper, you're the best ever. Oh my gosh. Blah, 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 blah. It's just so weird and hypocritical for you to be like, oh, all women are just filthy, disgusting. But there is one that, well, it's just so weird that people even think this. Like, and he obviously doesn't think this. He's just, again, he's going for the most radical position that he can, just to A, draw people's attention, and B, so that it's just the easiest thing to defend, like this most super radical position. Then you can just say crazy things, and then when people disagree with you, you can be like, oh, but you don't get no hoes, bro. But you don't get no hoes. That you can just use that as a defense. Like, it's easier than saying something that actually makes sense. It's easier than saying something that's actually relevant.
Kind of just seems like a trailer for a club where you get to hang out with a bunch of bald guys and smoke cigars and talk about business.
Look at him body shaming people for being bald, bro. This is why we can call him a soy boy, because you don't get to talk about other people's physiques. You are 28 and you genuinely look like a child. Lift some weights.
Pull this photo up where he's like curled up. Like this photo, doesn't he look like the guy that's curled up from Squid Games, the old man in the corner?
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
This is gonna be creepy or not. Over 50% of my employees were centered to get women to fall in.
So I like how they complain about the body shaming, and then they immediately start body shaming him, which shows that they didn't care about the body shaming at all. They just wanted a gotcha moment and then just created one for themselves. Again, I don't think they're hearing themselves, and this is on a stream, and it's a lot different from like a recording of a YouTube video. You can't really like edit things to get your point across better. When you say something, it's out there. But like, do you not like think about your responses before you say them? Because they're clearly trying to seem like they understand this completely. Like, oh, you're an open book, dude. I got this, okay? I've seen this story before. It's just so ridiculous to think about. Like, why? What are you doing? Genuinely, I'm so curious. How could you think that this is a smart take, and B, like, again, you don't hear yourself. It's just a lack of self-awareness that is so hilarious to me. And honestly, this guy is probably gonna get banned off of YouTube, which I don't support, but at the end of the day, it's probably going to be the best thing for creators in terms of avoiding an adpocalypse, because Sneako is just continuing to grow and grow and grow. And he even said that he's going to get banned eventually, and he said some bad things. And just like with Andrew Tate, I don't support him getting banned. I never support anybody getting banned, because I think that's objectively bad, and I think that his bad ideas, just like Andrew Tate's bad ideas, should be talked about and explained as to why they're dumb. No, all women are sluts. That doesn't make sense. Women aren't sluts because they don't go on Instagram. Women aren't sluts because they date more than one guy in a span of 5 years, okay? People should hear these things and not immediately think, let's get rid of them. They should think, wow, this is really stupid. I should explain why this is bad and lay out all the reasons, because you can't really force anybody to think a certain way. It's a really unique issue that only really started spiking up probably in the last like 5 or so years, as like these really weird ideologies sprung up. And then we got like Alex Jones's and Nick Fuentes's and guys like this, and it's just a really weird phenomenon. It's going to be interesting to see how this gets handled throughout, you know, the rest of, I don't know how long it will be until he gets banned, especially when the spotlight's going to be on him as he continues to grow, with Andrew Tate being gone from everything. I'm really curious what made him go down this route, because he was never like this. Like, he was kind of edgy at times, but he never crossed the line into like, yeah, I hate women, or I feel like it was that cucking incident that everyone talks about, where he was on the playback podcast, I guess. Yeah, it's playback podcast, and he watched a guy with his girl, and he just didn't do anything, and he just was chill about it, and he just talked about it in a way that it seemed like it really impacted him. And I think that is what led him down this road of like ultra masculine. We gotta go back to gender roles. We gotta switch the flow up. Women gotta go back to the kitchen. We gotta get back to gold and back to women in the kitchen, okay? That's the secret to getting us up out of what we're in right now. Just really odd. But at the end of the day, hopefully Sneako realizes like, oh wow, I'm saying these really dumb things. Let me chill out. And the people that he influences also realize that a lot of the things that he's saying are just plain out wrong and not worth listening to. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.